Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. This is Anaya Allah with the beloved truth. As you can see, I'm going to go into this Christian eschatology, uh, Esau's perception on the theology uh, of Christianity. In other words, the study of biblical prophecy. See, what you have here is Esau goes in depth with his study concerning the scriptures because they really want to figure out, um, you know, the the mystery behind the scriptures, you know, which it wasn't given to them to begin with, you know. Um, for the longest, they've been, using the Bible as a prompt to, propagate their belief in God and their righteousness, which no one can, ascertain righteousness in these times. But that's besides the point. The point is that uh, the so-called white man is a devil. He's a liar. You give him the opportunity to tell the truth 1,000 times, 1,000 out of 1,000 times, he's gonna lie. You know. So and it's this is not intended to be long. I just wanted to go into one of their perceptions on the different belief sets that certain groups have, and as you can see, they basically put these different belief sets into different groups. So you have the futurist belief, the pre preterist belief, and the historicist belief. So. And the thing I just want to just go get into is one of the topics that they have in Revelations uh, 12. It says the topic is the woman and the dragon. All right. And during this, I wanted to point out three things that they don't like to reveal. Okay. As you go into their studies, it's three detrimental things that they don't like to reveal, and it's based off of their breakdowns or their perception on the different belief sets in these different categories. All right, whether you be a futurist, a preterist, or a historicist. Okay, so the first one I'm gonna deal with, it says, and this is the topic, the woman and the dragon, and this is concerning Revelations 12:1 through 6. It says a future conflict between the state of Israel. Now, the state of Israel and Satan. Okay. Um, Now this is the futurist break. So the first one is a future conflict between the state of Israel and Satan, and that's what they're saying. The futurists. That's what Esau has. The futurists saying, that's their belief set. All these belief sets, except for the second one. But like I said, three things they don't like to mention. I'm gonna get into. Um, one of them is America is the whore that rideth the beast. America is Rome all over again. Or should I say the first one? I should say they don't like to mention Esau, Edom, as being the son of perdition, as being a counterpart of Satan, because Edom is the devil. Okay, and the devil is an actual person in the scriptures. It's not talking about a mythological creature. It's not talking about you know you know it's pinpointing a certain people on the planet. So three things that they don't like to reveal. Um, Instead of Slovakia, lost my train of thought, but instead of them revealing Edom, they put Satan there, in which we know Edom works through. He gets his power through the left hand side, which is Satan through witchcraft, and you know Satanism, okay, which they call it. All right. So that's one of the things that they don't reveal. They don't like to reveal that America is Rome all over again. According to Revelation 17, the whore that rideth the beast, you know. Well, we're going to deal with Revelations 12 in Salakia. Now, when you go into Revelations 12 and 1 and you read 1 through 6, it's actually talking about a point in time in history, okay? So a certain event that took place, okay? And that event, I'm gonna get into. I'm gonna read the scriptures and I'm gonna break it down so you can understand. Revelations 12:1, it says, "And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars." Now this represents the whole nation Israel. All right, and what proves that? Jeremiah 6:2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. So the Lord looks at Israel as a woman, which lines up with the parable here that you see in 12 and 1 Revelations, or Revelation. Okay. So the woman represents Israel. Okay. And the 12 stars represent the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. Same thing. So verse 2, and she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pained to be delivered. Right. Being delivered from who? At that time, it was the Roman Empire. Okay. Because the Roman Empire had rule over the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel had to pay tribute, which Yahushua mentioned that. I think the Pharisees, I don't quite remember the story, but it was talking about paying tribute. He mentioned, I guess they tried to catch him up, and he said to the Pharisees and scribes, the wicked ones of them, he said to them that render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God, roughly paraphrasing. But in that very instance, in that very that saying right there, um, it furthermore proves that the Romans were ruling over Israel and Israel had to pay tribute. Okay, so even when you go, Slacken, even when you go into let's see, Acts 1 and 6, okay, and I'm kind of a little further in the future, but it's stories even before Acts, the Acts of the Apostles, that even Matthew 2, which I'm going to get into, and that's part of the breakdown of Revelations 12, 1 through 6. It says, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Okay. Because at that time we were, like I said, under the rule of Esau, which was the Roman Empire at that time. And here's another precept. This is Matthew 11 and 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. So who was the Lord talking about? He was talking about the other nations, preferably the Roman Empire. Okay. And yes, they were headed by Edomites in the Roman, the so-called, well, not so-called, the Roman Republic. Okay. So going back to Revelations 12, and it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, that's the Roman Empire, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads, all right? And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven, all right? And that's the third part of the stars of heaven represents the southern kingdom, okay? And did cast them to the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now, where is this account? Where is this account located in the scriptures? All right, there you go. Matthew chapter 2. And I'll just write it in here. Matthew 2. Okay. I'm going to get to the point because I don't really want this to be lengthy. So I'm going to hit my points and I'm going to, jump. You can read the whole chapter yourself. Matthew 2 and 1, it says, Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. Now, let's do this one thing, okay? Let's look at Herod's family tree, okay? All right, Salakia. So, all right, let's do this better. So when you look up Herod the Great, I really don't have to go that far, but when you look to the right of your screen, all right, born 7, and they do it for you, okay? Herod, also known as Herod the Great and Herod the First, was a Roman client king of Judea, referred to as a Herodian kingdom. All right. So the Herodian dynasty, that was the which, as you can see, Edom. He was an Edomite. They had rule over the nation Israel at that time. Our forefathers. Okay. It says nationality, which they should switch that around. His nationality, he's an Edomite. See, Esau likes to distort certain facts. One being especially nationality or race, what they would call race. So as long as he can get you away from that and and keep your mind deterred from that, he can furthermore deceit spread his deceit. Okay, it's the analogy the lies being spread around the truth. So they give you some truth, but they throw lies in there. They throw misinformation. Okay, so you won't connect the dots. So Herod Antipater, or his father was Antipater. Okay, let me see. Let me tell you about his children. So even when you go into, he born 73 BC, Edom, who was Edom. Edom is a name of a country and a people located initially in Transjordan between Ammon to the north, the Dead Sea, and Arabia or Araba to the west, and the Arabian Desert to the south and east. So we all know when you go into history and the landmarks, Edom, this is the kingdom of Edom, kingdom of Israel. But the point really being made, okay, they got it there for you. Now going back to Matthew 2, springboarding off of the precept, uh, verse 4 in Revelations 12 and 4, it says, And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now, this is an actual event that took place, and this is it's in Matthew chapter 2. So it says, saying, Where is the king? It's like in Matthew 2 and 1. Now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king, behold, which was an Edomite, as you can see here. All right, Edom, right there. Salakia. So it says, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him. Because it was prophecy that Yahushua would come. In the Old Testament is written of him. Okay, for all you Old Testament Israelites that don't believe in the New Testament. Okay, when they go hand in hand. But that's beside the point. Matthew 2 and 3. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Okay. And why does it say all Jerusalem with him? Okay. Because guess what? You had high priests that were in the hands of the Romans, who the Romans had set up and gave certain positions to. What to keep their certain place, in Israel, uh, so they can reign over us. Okay, so they can basically keep the deceit and the tyranny going on behind closed doors. All right, as they do today. Okay, we have people, leaders of our nation who are in bed or who line up with the devil, the so-called white man, Edomites. Okay. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and the scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Yahushua should be born. And they said unto him, in Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet. See, okay. So it was prophecy that you know that Yahushua was coming, and it troubled who? It troubled Herod the Edomite, Herod the king, okay, of the Roman Empire. All right, it troubled him and also the leaders of of our people, okay, because they knew his coming. He was bringing the kingdom of heaven. All right. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Okay. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, acquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. All right. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him. But actually, he had an ulterior motive. It was to kill him. And you can read the whole chapter, but I'm gonna jump to verse 16. Okay, because it said he was troubled. Now, if he was troubled, why would he want to go worship him? If he was troubled when he heard about, Yahushua being born. This is Matthew 2 and 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently acquired of the wise men. And that's why I read the Matthew 11, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent taken by force. All right. You see, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, Matthew 11 and 12, until now, the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violent taken by force. I was talking about the Roman Empire, which goes back to Revelations 12, 1 through 6. Now, they don't mention uh, Edom, okay? In the state of Israel, they're not talking about the true Israelites. Well, in that biblical time, because um, a lot of them do have an understanding that the base understanding, but like I said, they don't mention Edom. They put Satan in there to throw you off, which they work through the power of Satan, like I mentioned. Um, what proves that? Here you go, a little short snippet. I'm gonna keep it short. And why, going back to what she was saying, why doesn't it matter, and why was the bloodline basically eradicated, erased? Because it goes back to they don't want, uh, they don't, they also, another thing they don't like to mention is the blacks, Latins, and Native Americans being the children of Israel, which the Spirit of the Lord had to reveal it to us so we can push it out there, you know, not giving any credit to these Edomites, okay? Because Yahushua is going to get the glory, all right? Now, they don't want us to know these simple things because we're going to take them out of their very state of existence of rulership in the world as we see it today. Okay, things are going to be totally turned upside down because of the lies and the treachery that was done throughout history, and it's biblical prophecy that this so-called white man has to go down, and that's one of the reasons why they don't mention Edom. All right, it says the future conflict between the state of Israel and Satan. That's Edom. This all right, and the preterist theology. It says belief. It says symbolic of the Old Testament, Old Covenant Church, the nation of Israel, woman giving birth to Christ's child. Satan was determined to destroy it. So once again, they have somewhat of an understanding, but like I said, misinformation, disinformation, lies. Edom was determined to destroy the child. As you can see, Herod was an Edomite. All right. It says a woman, the early church, and they always throw church in there because it's a different connotation. The Israelites, that just means really church, ecclesia, meaning the gathering or a small congregation, or to call out, because that's what basically they did when they came together. They came together as a small congregation, calling out to who the elect, you know, to whom whoever would lend an ear. Okay, so it says the woman, the early church, fled Jerusalem before its destruction in 70 AD. Now that's the breakdown, okay? Simply that's the breakdown. But like I said, they don't like to mention Edom. They don't like to mention Esau. And this is a pretty much simple lesson, but just proving, going back to Revelations 12, that's an actual point in history. 12 and 5, and she brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And that's what Herod feared, okay? The rod of iron. Because when he comes back, he's going to kick ass and take names, okay? As they say. Ruling with a rod of iron, that means, it simply means he's going to, he's going to rule. Let's, let's go into the word, slocking. It's going to be a no nonsense type of rule. So it represents made of iron. Um, but, they don't go into the word. I mean, well, they don't go into the understanding what I mean by that. But it says, even Yahushua the made a statement concerning, you know, those that don't worship him, bring them hither and slay them before him, you know. So, that pretty much sums it up. It says, and her child was caught up, back in Revelation 12:5, and her child was caught up unto the Most High to his throne, and that was when he was resurrected. But he's going to come back, okay? He's going to come back a second time and redeem his people, because those Jews are not over there claiming in Israel. Those are not his people, okay? We are his people, the ones that's been in slavery and the one that's still prisoners of war here in America under the so-called reign of the so-called white man. Because we don't have a homeland we can go back to. They stole us from the west coast of Africa and Spain, um, you know, and they brought us here to America, and the other 10 tribes were over here already, okay? When you read Second Esdras, the 13th chapter and the 49th verse, or the 39th verse on. The whole chapter is good, but like I said, it's more lies, more disinformation. They try to they give you somewhat of the truth, but they'll throw Satan in there. It says the dragon represents Satan. This is the last the historicists believe. It says the dragon represents Satan. The dragon represents the Roman Empire. Okay, stop playing. And any earthly power he uses, Satan. Throughout history, you never seen a mythological creature, Satan. You never seen Satan and him using powers. You seen him working through people. It says the woman represents God's true church before and after Christ's birth, death, and resurrection. The woman flees to the desert away from the dominant power of 260 years. See, and then just off. You know what I'm saying? So, and they'll throw you off if you're not, if you don't have the spirit of truth. If you don't have the spirit of truth dealing with you, you'll be thrown off. As I should say. But which leads me into my last scriptures, and I'm gonna end on these scriptures here. I'll start with 1 Corinthians 1 and 25. It says, because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men are after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called. But God hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. The foolish represents the great millstone. All right. It represents the men of the Lord, those who are teaching the truth. Okay, if they don't necessarily have the name Great Millstone, but they're teaching the truth, the whole truth, 100% truth, and 100% truth means the 100% understanding of the truth of the scriptures. Okay, it says the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and God hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. All right, and the base things of the world in the things which are despised hath God chosen. And you blacks, Lions, and Native Americans, the ones that do the work, y'all, we are the ones that's despised. Okay, and things which are not, we are not to bring to naught things that are. And these Christian apologetic Christians, they are the things that are. Their philosophy dictates and forms, social, how society thinks when it comes to a religious base. These are the wise people in the world. These theologians, these scholars, you know, that study Christian eschatology. And they think they have all the scriptures figured out, and they don't. They're just simply off. Okay, so 1 Corinthians, and then you know what? I got Psalms 50 and 16. Slovakia. And this is to the so-called white man. This is to you, all you apologetic Christian, you Edomite Christians out there. And don't get it twisted. You got some white people that look like Edomites. Okay, because really, color never mattered, but nationality always mattered. Okay, and the so-called white man wants to push that, you know, that that nationality doesn't matter, but nationality always mattered. And color matters somewhat. Because to have a translucent skin like the so-called white man, that means you're cursed. That's why you know, they get plagued by the sun. They can't be out in the sun too long. Okay, that's just fact. So it said, but unto the wicked, God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Okay, seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee. Okay, and what are some of those words, man? Um, the death and destruction that we had to face here in America, the blacks, lands, and Native Americans. We wasn't paid back. We wasn't given restitution, so to speak. The so-called white man worked his anger and his fury and his disdain, his hate. All right, as Ezekiel 35 and 5 said. You know, roughly paraphrasing, had basically pure hatred, man. You know, pure hatred toward the nation of Israel, and it goes back. It's an age old, it's an ancient old thing you're dealing with when concerning Jacob and Esau. Okay, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, you see, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, which was slavery, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Now, the so-called white man will tell you that this happened already. And what they don't understand is that the scriptures, okay, they talk about the past, they talk about the present, whether it be in, historical past, historical present, if you can put it that way. And they talk about the future, okay? A prime example, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. The thing that hath been is it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Okay. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be remembrance of things that are come with those that shall come after. But basically, the things that was in the past still happen till this day. Okay. All right. So let me see. And then I have 58 to prove that the so-called white man is a liar. Okay. Oh, Agora. And that's pretty much what this is, the Agora. All right. Psalms 58 and 2, it says, yea, in heart ye work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. And that's what the so-called white man has been doing. He's been doing military coups since World War One. He's been bombing people since Hiroshima, Nagasaki. All right. They don't tell you about North Korea and them going to war with North Korea right afterward. You know, they don't tell you about the lies that they propagated to the world so they can go into. Yeah, I'm talking about Nixon, so they can go into North Vietnam. Okay, they don't tell you about that. They don't tell you about all the innocent bystanders that they killed, and they didn't target the military. They target the resources, factories, where people worked. Okay, so and that's just the nation. That ain't even what they did to us. It says the wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And that's the only thing that the so-called white man has contributed to history. That's his only plight. That's his only thing that he can contribute to history. Verse 4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. All right. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. And who are the charmers? The charmers are the men of the Lord that's coming out of the scriptures, who use the Lord's mouthpiece, which is the Bible. Break their teeth, O power, O God, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions. It's talking about their military, because they're going to be broken. All right, their military is going to be broken. Okay, but it pretty much sums up the lesson. So-called white man has no business with the scriptures and is even using the scriptures. You know, it studied the scriptures. You know, only so we can bring down their thoughts in their imagination. Because one of their imaginations is that they're the Gentiles. Gentiles can be saved. They can possibly be Gentiles, which that's a lie. You know, if you know anything about the prodigal son, then you understand that, or even the basis of the understanding of the diaspora and the Israelites living in other countries and being disbanded from their own homeland, becoming Israelite foreigners, Gentiles. Okay. And then, other topics. Everybody can be saved, so on and so forth, man. But it's just showing you the lesson, once again, was just showing you that Revelations 12, 1 through 6 is actually talking about the nation of Esau against the nation of Israel. Okay. So, and there you have it. Like I said, they like to throw Satan in there, you know, but this is their history. Herod, their history, um, and that perpetual hatred extends all the way back to the Greeks and the Romans. And, pretty much that's what you prove when you go into the history, when you read the history, and that's the history that they love to hide. So with that, I'll give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. This has been another one with Anaya Allah, the beloved truth. Hey, and Shalom to you brothers out there that's doing this work. Shalom.